Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today what I want to do is to take a look at some mid-range watches from 4 different countries, yet they typify mid-range watches from that country, and all of them I think they're very well known. Perhaps one isn't. And I wanted to get watches that, first of all, had in-house movements, and I wanted to get them from independent companies. That means companies that weren't owned by Swatch or Richemont or LVMH or one of the big holding companies. One of the watches is owned by another company, and but I decided to include that anyway. I'll talk about that in a second. Well, let's take a look and see what we've got. Now, the first one I have is, at least price-wise, it's really, really great. This is a Seiko Presage. Now, this is from one of their collections. They have a huge amount of models. Even within the Presage, they have all different kinds of models, and prices differ. This is sort of, I would say, in the mid-price range of Seikos. I really like this watch. I mean, I like everything about it. It's sort of a sport-ish watch. It's not a sport watch, but it's sport-ish. So, which means that it's sort of informal, but you could wear it like in a work setting or something a little dressier, but not greatly so. The caliber is 4R35. Part of the 4R series, which, by the way, I have a lot of respect for. Automatic 3 hertz, which I love that. 21,600 semi-oscillations per hour. 41-hour reserve. I don't know how much sense that makes with automatics, because as long as you're going, it's got a winder going for it. It's got a date calendar on it. Lume bright hands. Now, this is for people who like lume on their hands. To me, that's not a big issue, but for some people, it's important. I like the red matte bezel around it. Just makes it come out without being too loud. Screw down see-through case back, trifold push button reclass. These things you just click it here and it comes right off. And you can take it down to 165 feet. It's not something I would do, unless you fell into the pool or something, and a really deep pool. Anyway, so this is what I consider sort of a mid-range kind of watch, but this is very much of what you'd call the price-wise is that very economical range. Now, this next one, the Tudor Black Bay, this is also the sort of the bottom price range of this. The Black Bay is a very interesting watch. It's won a whole bunch of Grand Prix awards in different versions of the Black Bay Tudor. Now, Tudor is owned by Rolex. I know that, and I said I wanted to look at watches that were independent. I think Tudor seems to be pretty independent. They have, for example, a movement making deal with Canisi. They and who was it? Chanel co-own it, and so it's sort of an interesting kind of thing that they have. So I mean, that's sort of indicating the independence that they have. The movement is called the MT5602. MT means it's manufactured by Tudor, MF. MT, I mean. It's certified COSC. Now, this is one of the things. You can see the influence of Rolex because all of Rolexes are COSC chronometer certified. 4 hertz, 28,800 semi-oscillation per hour with a 70-hour reserve. It's waterproof. You can go way down and at it again, something I probably wouldn't do. Screw down crown, that for waterproof, this helps. unidirectional rotational bezel. So this is, very much a lot of a sort of diver kind of watch, if you like those. It is very much of a sports watch too, with a blue fabric strap on it. You can go out and roughhouse, have a good time with this watch. But I think this is another is very, again, we're talking about the difference between this and the Seiko is about $3,000. So it's like there seems to be a big difference, but they have certain things in common in the context of watches in a more general sense. Now, in terms of price and everything else. So this is the Swiss example. The first Seiko was from Japan. Now this is a German watch, Nomos Metro date power reserve. There is a very wide range in Nomos. Now, the caliber that I wanted was at least a caliber DUW caliber. This one's a 4401. Now, the reason for that, they have another caliber called the Alpha. And the Alpha sort of grew out of earlier Nomos that were based on the Pezou or ETA 7001 movement. And the Alpha is very close to that, even though they manufactured every aspect of it. So I thought, well, I want to have, if I did that, it would sort of wouldn't be quite the same as having the DU one something from the DUW line of calibers. Nothing wrong with the Alpha. The old 7001 was a good caliber too, but pretty small, and I like this one better. 3 hertz. That's something. Of course, I like that a great deal. I like that a lot. And now this one's manual. That's another thing I like. I'm a big manual fan. It's sort of something I think for collectors. They tend to be that way. And with a manual, you get to wind it up every day to handle it. So it's the kind of thing that I like. I like the way they have a great big date window down at 6 o'clock. You can see the 24 down there. It's hour, minute, small second. Then the power reserve indicator. The power reserve indicator on the Nomos, it's like, I guess is the redder it gets, the more time you've used up. With 42 hours, it's pretty much something you wind on Monday morning, and then you wind again Tuesday night, or you wait until Wednesday and wind it up again. But I'm not the biggest fan of Bauhaus, but I like this particular watch. The hands are sort of a modified syringe hand. Usually on a syringe hand, the base part is a lot thicker, and then you have the needle part of the syringe hand. It looks more like a syringe. This, what they have, is sort of like a fat needle, and then the needle at the end of it. Neat watch. I like this one a lot. And again, mid-range, about 3,780. Now, the final one is a watch from Austria. And Austria, when you think of Austria, you don't think of a lot of watches, at least I don't. But the Habring2 Felix is a wonderful, wonderful watch. I've got one, and so I can attest to it. It is winded up, keeps great time, and the caliber A11B. Now, they've done more with this, and what I found was certain different colors and some other things about the Felix, like the green one was about $1,000 more, and some other kinds of things like that. So it's the kind of watch, I think, that is probably almost for an office watch. It's unique in that it's, of the whole group of watches, of all 4 of the watches, it's the only one, Habring2, that is made, the movement and everything else is by Richard Habring and Maria Habring. They work together, but Richard Habring is the main horologer of the couple. And this thing has got a lot of great stuff. It's got a 2-day reserve on it, manual wind again, which I like. 4 hertz, no, they could do with 3, but that's okay. Hour, minute hand, small second at 9 o'clock. It's called a tangential screw for fine adjustment. Now, what that is, there's to adjust the frequency of this watch and other ones. There's usually a little stick. You can push it one way or the other. This one, for finer adjustment, you have a little screw, and as the screw goes in, it finally pushes the regulator to the left or to the right for more or less speed on it. Anti-magnetic escapement with a Carl Haas hairspring and chronometer quality. That's very important, extremely important. I've had watches, very good watches, I might add, that have nothing but magnetized problems. I just don't accept the whole concept of using silicone hairsprings, but that's me. They're used a lot now, and more so, but companies like this with Carl Haas hairsprings, or H. Moser with Strassman hairsprings. These are using more traditional everything. Do a great job doing the same thing. KIF shock protection. This is just a really good watch, and again, for your mid prices. 5,500 is I know the most expensive one, and literally almost 10 times more than the Seiko. But anyway, I thought, well, we could take a look, sort of a geographical look, and see what's there. And these, again, they're all in-house, and this is the last of them. I would really like to hear from you what your ideas are on this. I was thinking of including Rolex as a mid-level, but two things. One, their prices have jumped out of that, I think, and also they're really hard to get. So I thought I'll talk about some of these that are more down to earth. Again, let me know what you think. This is an opportunity to subscribe if you like. Until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side, the art and science of watch collection.